What's up, guys? So Konami have released cards for the Euros and the Copa America, and James Rodriguez actually looks very interesting. So he has Visionary Pass, which is actually good for crossing game because it gives a first time or boost to first time shots. So if you hit a cross in and get a header, that header will be more accurate and powerful. So if we look at James Rodriguez's card, this is the first build I would recommend. You can see here before we go to the boosts, we get the dribbling stats all above 85. Unfortunately, we don't have the low pass above 85, but he has a booster on it, so we're getting it to 88, which is what I recommend as your maximum for passing. 85 finishing, 89 kicking power, and we can't get the acceleration and balance with this build to 85, but he does look very strong. If you want a build with the 85 acceleration and balance, you take off the aerial strength and the lower body and then put it into dexterity, and then this is what the card looks like that way. Although I think his speed isn't high enough, or is it? I don't know. Something about that big split. I just feel like it wouldn't work on James Rodriguez. I feel like it'd work on other players, but not him because I've used him before. A different version for some reason. This player ID, I'm not sure if that would work, but give it a try. In theory, it should work. I don't know about in practice, but he does look very strong. If we take a quick look at his skills, he's got very good skills. Just give him first time shot. Marseille turn, soul control, flip flap. There's 4 skills there. For the last skill, he doesn't really need anything specifically. Maybe a fighting spirit, cut behind and turn. You can kind of figure out that last skill maybe, but then other 4 I can see be very effective on him. Next player we're going to look at is Rodrigo de Paul. Now, this guy I am the hugest fan of. I think if you're a free-to-play player, any version of this card is good, but you wouldn't be the type of guy I would spend money on. So if we take a look at his card, you can see why. He is got good attacking stats, but he, like dribbling and passing, but he doesn't have the finishing. He's 180 centimeters tall, so he's kind of tall. He's not nimble. His defensive stats aren't good enough for you can consider him as a defensive player. Yeah, he's just not like he's too much well-rounded. He's not good enough at like a specific strength that you can kind of use. Yeah, if you look at his positions though, he can play a lot of positions. So not a terrible player, but I do think if you had a free version of him, I don't think you would notice any kind of improvement on this one. Now, he does have track back and interception, so even if he doesn't have the strongest defensive stats, that will compensate for that. Then he has double touch and soul control, so you're going to want to give him flip flap to get the that, and then one touch pass. So then you'll have one touch pass, true pass, interception. They're all the necessary skills from centre midfield, and then first time shot and long range shooting wouldn't be bad either. If we go on to the next player, which is Dani Olmo. Now, Dani Olmo, I haven't actually... I don't know if I've used any versions of his card other than his GP one, but his GP one was very strong. And this one has phenomenal finishing. Now, I used phenomenal finishing on Havertz, and I didn't notice it, so I don't know how effective the skill is from my own personal experience. But if we look at Dani Olmo's build, you can see before the boost, it doesn't look that strong, but after the boost, it starts to kind of see what's going on here. So you have 95 dribbling and side possession, very, very effective. 90 finishing too. And then the acceleration and balance are very strong. So this guy should be just a good attacking midfielder. If we look at his skills, you can see that he has, well, first off, he has very high weak foot, so he's very strong in that regard. And then his skills, he has blocker for some reason. I don't know why exactly. Maybe I'm misremembering a block he did in that game. And he has super sub as well, so I probably would use him as a super sub. He has double touch, but he doesn't have flip flap or slow control, so put both of them on too. Get the level 3 double touch, be very effective, coupled with his very high weak foot. And then he's just really needing acrobatic finishing and a long range shooting, and then you're kind of done with his skills. So very strong player. I don't think this pack is worth spending money on. I do think you're better off just using default versions of these cards. I can see James Rodriguez being effective. Now, there are other players in the pack that are good too, so I have got builds for these guys as well. So the first one we're going to look at is De La Cruz. I think he's a decent little centre midfielder, but he's more of an attacking midfielder. He's one of them players that'll play above his stats, so if you get him, try this build. He should surprise you, and that aggression too will make him defend very strong as well. John Stones, good ball playing centre back, just doesn't have skills. So if we look at his skills in game, he doesn't start with enough. So you're gonna need to put on one touch pass, true passing, acrobatic clearance, blocker. Like, he does need a lot of skills. If you give him the skills, it'd be good, but without the skills, it's probably not worth the investments, to be honest. Bruno, just a good orchestrator. I do have a Anchorman version, I think, who's better, but he's a decent orchestrator. A more defensive-minded one, like a Kimmich, but he does have decent balance, good dribbling, good passing, so he should be effective as well. His skills, I think he's missing Yeah, he's missing interception, so he has very strong defensive stats, but not the skill. So he needs interception, and surprisingly, he doesn't have one touch pass either. And then Rodri here, I just don't think Rodri looks that interesting, to be honest. I think he doesn't have enough of his technical abilities there. You could go for a build like this, though, and give him the 88 ball control, and then maybe we'll get his dexterity up to 70, but I still think this card is missing too much. I just don't think he'll be effective in game. Or get the balance to 72. Yeah, so I don't think he'll be majorly effective. Won't be an upgrade on any previous version, really. And then Kylian Mbappe. This card is interesting because it's a prolific winger, and I think Mbappe, I don't think he's at best out left wing, but I do think there's a lot better options in centre forward. So if you want to use Mbappe, you're probably better off putting him out wide. So yeah, he does look good to build like go for. We can see high balance and acceleration. His finishing's only 90 because he's a winger. We don't need the 95. I'd settle with 90. His dribbling's a bit low for an elite tier winger, but because of his player ID, I think he should be effective in game. But yeah, that's the end of the players. So not the greatest pack. I probably wouldn't spend your coins on it. I don't think it's value for money at all. I'd probably keep your coins, but Dani, Olmo, and Rodriguez might be decent.